So the one-piece shirt collar is not the best fit-wise because it's trying to make a two-piece shirt collar fit, but it doesn't fit very well. But sometimes if you want it so it's got the look with a collar stand on it, but you want a more relaxed sort of Hawaiian shirt type feel where you're probably going to wear it open necked a bit more, the one-piece collar works. So it's much more relaxed, but it looks a little bit like it's got the stand on it. So we've drafted the standard collar stand. Okay, so we've got the centre back, we've marked the shoulder, we've just tightened that bit, bend around the front, send 5 centimetres back from the centre front, and we've added a wrap because it's got a shirt collar that we're going to make. Now we're creating a look. It's nice to sometimes draft below. Like I said, it's quite best practice normally to go and have a look on the stand, draft what it's going to look like, but we're guesstimating for the first one. So we need to, I know that we've got this stand going up, but we need to just continue this straight line here, and this is going to be our fold line, just for drafting what our collar's going to look like. So straight away we're kind of reducing that wrap. And we're just going to, if you imagine this is your centre front of your shirt here and you've got your wrap, and we know that the collar, so we're sort of going to come from here, the collar shape, you know, what shape do you want that collar to be? I prefer drafting below because I can get more of an idea for a first draft. You could draft it up here, but it looks a bit strange and you've got to slash it open. So by saying this is my centre front line, then it gives me sort of the width that the collar, move it up a bit, that the collar will take on. All right, so I can have a look, because obviously they go edge to edge. So we start at the top on that fold line. How wide do I want my collar to be? And what shape do I want that to be? So it's just that guesstimate. I know it's got to come down past the collar stand. How deep do I want it to be? It's never that deep, a collar at the back. So it'll come, you know, centimetre further at the back, and then from the shoulder it will start changing its shape, and I'm going to draft that shirt collar shape. So from the top here, that's like my fold, and then this is my collar underneath. So once I've given myself a bit of a draft, draw it so you can see it. Draw that line so you can see it through the paper, or you can use your tracing wheel. So this is like my collar that I've just drafted. This is the look of my collar. All right, and I'm just doing that there, and then I'm just going to fold it along my fold line and trace it through. Nothing more scientific than that. Right, so you just use your tracing wheel and trace that line that you've just drafted through. So now I've got my collar, and it looks a bit strange, which is why we don't generally draft it above, because the angles look wrong. Right, and that obviously is a right angle at the back. So my collar draft, I've got to go from here, and then that's going to lessen that wrap, that depth of the wrap from the original one. So I'm losing a bit. Nothing I can do about that. All right, so I put it on here on the handout where we've got that there. I've drafted my collar draft. I've reshaped the button extension once I flipped it over and traced it. Now this edge is too tight. It's not going to curve around the neck beautifully. It's not got enough length to sit open. It's too tight. So we're going to slash that open. But we have to come all the way down because it's a one-piece collar. So on the 2-piece collar we could have the stand, and then the top collar we could slash it open, but we're kind of combining the two together, so we have to slash it all the way open. So my collar draft there, and then I've got my lines here. This is the collar shape. All right, so the colour, the one that I'm looking at, I now need to ignore my blue. The one that's now my finished 1-piece collar, it goes up a bit here. I've changed my shape of my wrap extension, and then this is my draft here. Okay, and now I'm going to slash open in 3 places from the top edge to the bottom. This has to sew to the neck, so we don't slash that open. So I've sort of slashed it in the, halfway between the centre back and the shoulder. I've slashed it at the shoulder roughly, and then halfway between the shoulder and the centre front. I just guesstimate measurements. Put a piece of paper behind, and then I'm going to open that up. And I can open that, and I'm opening it approximately 5mm, so 1.5 centimetres in total. Again, your trial and error. Obviously, the deeper the collar, then the more you'll need to slash it open, because you need it to lay out further, to sit further down onto the shoulders and the back. So that is my 1-piece collar draft, the green, so I can trace that off. Let's cut that out. And that is my under collar. Alright, so the green here is my draft for my 1-piece collar, and that's the under collar. And then we trace it off. So that's my draft there, and I've slashed that open and created this. And then we trace it off, adding seam allowances. I use 1 centimetre at the bottom. I need a notch for the shoulder, a notch for the centre front. We've got the shape. I like to use 1/4 inch or 7mm, and this is a fold. So that will be the under collar, and that will be on the fold. And then you'll create the top collar, and you'll add the roll on the outer edge coming down to nothing at the top of the stand.